And welcome back to Plough Lane after what I can only describe as a shocking 2-2 draw with Hartlepool United here at Plough Lane. Joined to my right by Rob Boyce, my left George Jones, and also Aaron Paul. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Hello. And yeah, I mean, I was quite positive up until the 75th minute, and then it all kind of seemed to tumble away. But Rob, what was your kind of take on that to start with?
You know what, it's just disappointing to come away, obviously. When you let in a goal that late, you're always going to be coming away disappointed. It just feels really flat coming away from Plough Lane today. I think the turning point for me was actually Alex Pearce getting injured.
Yeah.
You know, we were 2-0 and we were cruising, and he's just a rock in that back line. And that's not to say Aaron Pierre had a bad game or anything when he comes on, but I just think changing, you know, your centre back, you know, 75 minutes in, and Aaron Pierre hasn't had a lot of game time this season. You know, just thrown in there, and then they score a worldie free kick, more or less straight from the get-go, and you know, it's just a sucker punch right at the end. So disappointing. I think we've done enough for the 3 points, and we should have probably scored 3 or 4 today before they pegged us back.
Absolutely, and I think, Aaron, it's quite interesting bringing on a relatively inexperienced defender in this side when you've got Lee Brown who can play centre-back and a young Jack Carey on the bench who I think a lot of people would like to have seen play today.
Wasn't it his birthday? Aaron Pierre?
Was it his birthday?
I think it's his birthday, isn't it?
It's his birthday yesterday.
Well, there you
It was
go.
a late birthday present, yeah.
Yeah, look, we don't know what goes on the bench. I think at 2-0 up, everyone thinks, yeah, happy days, we're all right here. And, you know, we can potentially look to rest some players. I know I, for one, was shouting for Josh Davidson, thinking, hey, give him some, you know, a bit of rest. He's done his work for today. But goals change games, don't they? And that free kick switched the momentum completely. You said when you opened the show it was a shocking 2-2 draw. It was a disappointing more than anything. That was the biggest thing for me. And I think, like, when I saw Johnny Jackson when that goal went in, he was fuming because I know he wanted his side to be more clinical. We could have been that little bit more clinical today. Could have taken that extra touch, maybe just like steadied ourselves on shots. You look at the end, we're clutching at things. Ali firing over the bar, Josh firing over the bar. You know, again, got to question the officiating. Some ropey decisions. But if I speak, I'll be in big trouble. So I prefer not to speak.
We saw a little bit of Casey McAteer and also Sam Pearson off the bench today, George. And what do you make of those?
Yeah, I think Sam looked tricky. He struggled to have a major influence on the game, but he looked sharp in some points. Casey McAteer looks like a serious player. I can see why he's at Leicester, and I think there's big things ahead of him. Again, he wasn't able to get that game-changing influence, but he threatened, and if anyone was going to cause any damage in that last half hour, it looked like it was going to be him. Positive to have Casey. Sam looks like he's still struggling for fitness, to be honest. But yeah, no, definitely some positives.
Yeah, I thought Armani Little today was imperious yet again. It just seems to be everywhere. It just seems to pop up in little places and make some great passes. There was little balls through to, I think, Ali a couple of times where he just unleashed and then we're through on goal. I think Woody struggled next to him today. I think he struggled to get a grip on the game a little bit. There's a lot of misplaced passes, a lot of mistakes that you don't usually see from Woody, and I think he is struggling a little bit at the moment when playing that next to Armani. So it'll be interesting to see what Jackson does with that, see if we can get back to where we were.
If you're asking me about Armani Little, he's class. You know, he's been really impressive since coming in. He looks a bit like a Jake Reeves to me with that engine. He seems to cover every blade of grass, like you said. I actually think Woody had quite a solid game in midfield, to be honest with you. I don't think he had a bad game at all. I think maybe what it is Armani Little setting the bar so high now that, you know, it's hard for other midfielders to reach that height. But yeah, he looks a class player. Be interesting, you know, he's got a lot of goals and a lot of assists in non-league, and I wonder, you know, if there's a plan maybe to push him further forward as a number 10. You know, it'll be interesting to see if that, that's maybe something they might look at further in the season.
Absolutely, I think it's quite a good time as well, George. You know, we've gone from having very little squad depth to now having quite a few players in lots of different positions. For example, Rob just mentioned maybe playing Armani a little bit further forward, but you've also got Pell and McAteer who can play there, and also Chislett and Ali played there today as well. So it's quite nice to have a bit of squad depth. For you, what would be that front four or that midfield?
Yeah, I think I personally thought Woody was poor today. So I think, you know, when you're looking at that sort of front five, you drop him out of it realistically. I think you probably put Marsh in to partner Armani, and then I mean DJ, Al Hamady and Cheers are probably the three you have in behind Davison. But I wouldn't be opposed to dropping Davison for a couple of weeks just to give him a rest and give him a bit of rotation, moving Ali up top and putting Pal back in as a 10. I don't think that's our best team, but I think you need to do it because Josh has played pretty much every minute now all season, and you do need to take him out of the firing line for a couple of weeks just to prevent injury and make sure that, if we do need him later this year, he's ready, or just make sure he's fresh, ready for next year.
Absolutely. Comment there from Stuart Stone. When it loads on screen, there we go. 2-0 thrown away against a very poor team. Awful mid-table finish at best. And the smallest player on the pitch, given all the space in the world for a free header. Sorry, but that was embarrassing, and I can kind of agree with the sentiment. I don't think Hartlepool blew us away, by any sense. They made a little bit of to start with, but I think they very much petered out near the end, and it wasn't fluid.
You know what it is with teams like Hartlepool, and we've done this last season in League One. When you're at the bottom of the league and you're fighting and scrapping for points, it's going to be frustrating for us walking away with a 2-2 draw, but how many times have we done that over the last 5-6 seasons? Scrapping at the bottom, we've beat teams like Peterborough, for example, off the top of my head. When you're fighting at the bottom of the table, that's what happens, and credit to Hartlepool, they didn't stop going to the very end. We should have buried the game long before that. Frustrating fact that, Kemp does get in for what looked like a free header to me. For me, it looked like Zanev was going to come and then hesitated and then didn't. And probably, a bit of confusion in the back line there. And I think, Aaron alluded to, JJ was fuming when that goal went in.
Absolutely, and I think we've got some scores from around the grounds just in there. There we go. There's Northampton losing to Grimsby 2-1. Bradford beating Barrow beating Bradford 1-0. Carlisle beating Culture. I won't read through them all because they're on screen. But any there, Aaron, that kind of stick out for you?
As I said earlier, Sutton United, when again they do the basics so well. They're a really good, well-organised side. But that Stockport 2, Stevenage 0, Stevenage to visit Plough Lane in 10 or so days. That'll be a real battle, and we do like playing against the Steve Evans side, don't we? We do enjoy welcoming him here down to Plough Lane. Gillingham, big win for them away at Rochdale. Can I just say my biggest shout out though for Sheffield Wednesday, scoring 5 goals this afternoon at home. The fans at Hillsborough must be buzzing. 5 goals at home. Enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it.
Shout out Sheffield Wednesday.
Shout out.
There we go. A comment there from Robbie Jack just on screen. Bye playoffs. Yeah, slightly knee-jerk reaction to.
You know what?
I don't think we're that far away still. I haven't seen the table. I'm sure.
I think we're about 6 points off. But to be honest with you, I'm not 100% convinced playoffs is always a guarantee. Given our January window, we had a lot of disruption. We weren't expected to lose Towler or Paris, and then obviously Aya Basal was probably a player we wanted to sell in the summer, but the offer came in which we couldn't refuse. So.
I mean, there's so much football to be played. Don't forget, we've basically reassembled a squad in January. Yep. Yeah, you're sitting there and you're expecting instant results, and of course we're going to expect instant results. Arguably, the squad is stronger than what it was pre-Christmas. There's more depth, as we just alluded to a few minutes ago, but we need to give ourselves time. How many games left, George? 15 or so games?
15 for us.
15 games left. I think we can start coming to conclusions in 10 games' time. I think saying playoffs are gone and stuff, I mean, look at the results. Gillingham winning, Sutton winning, Stockport beating Stevenage. Anything can happen. This is the EFL, guys.
You know what, Aaron? No, I just don't think we were, like for me, I don't think we were favourites or going to get playoffs. We had an outside chance of it. I think the big thing for us, look, if obviously we're going to try to win every game between now and the end of the season, but the big thing will be for me rebuilding in the summer. We've got some funds obviously for Masal, obviously Craig Cope's here now, so he'll have his list of targets, and we'll go again next season if we don't.
In terms of this club is at a much more advanced point than what it was. There's no major rebuild needed.
Yep.
We need a conservatory. Maybe a loft, ensuite bathroom, something like that.
The ensuite sounds good.
We're not knocking it down and building a through lounge here. We are doing minor tweaks, and it's about quality rather than quantity. We've managed to open up and get some good loans in. Casey McAteer, as I think it was George said, has got a big future at Leicester City. So if we're tapping up Premier League clubs and picking up these players, then brilliant. I don't like this talk of looking ahead to some 15 games. We ain't even got to Easter yet. the wrapping's not even off the cream eggs, and we're all doing, playoffs are gone. No. Come on, guys. Come on. Look, it's a sucker punch, isn't it? That's what it is. Everyone's saying, mate, I was on a downer. I didn't want to do this. I don't want to be here. No. My mate's waiting for me. We're going to the pub.
We're to drag you here, Alan.
You had to drag me here. George threatened to like sit in my boot later when I was going home and follow me home. But all I'm saying is, don't write us off. Don't write us off. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Absolutely. And just comment there on the screen from Jamie Scorer saying, "Bring back Jack Curry." As you know, we were saying earlier, he's been dropped for a reason. Maybe looking for more experience in that back line. But you know, I'm sure he'll be back when Jackson thinks best and suits the team best. And I think, especially playing teams like Hartlepool, I think the experience is needed more in that back line. I think Lee Brown is more than, from a personal point of view, I think he's more than good enough. I think he looked good today. He was good. He was good getting back. He lets the officials know if he thinks the decisions are correct or not.
You know what? Lee Brown had a solid game today.
Yeah.
You know, like the thing is, like I always find if we lose or drop points or draw a 0-0, people seem to point the finger at Lee Brown and Chris Gunter. But again, both of them, both putting a solid 7 out of 10, and that's what you get from Lee Brown and Chris Gunter. You know,
and that's why they're here.
Solid.
Bring that experience.
Bring that experience. Solid players. You know, I don't know if we're looking for a scapegoat here or whatnot, but I think Lee Brown was quality in the first half. He had a lot of joy down that left-hand side with Chislett. So yeah, for me, like, you know, JJ has said, you know, if you've got the shirt and you play well, you keep it. So far, Lee Brown's, you know, keeping Jack Curry out the side for a reason.
And I think Lee Brown was okay today. I think he had a bit of success, but I said it in the pre-match show, I'd have liked to have seen Jack start ahead of Lee, and I think, you know, Lee wasn't at fault for either goals, but personally I think we win that potentially with Jack, just because I think it gives you a bit more going forward. I think you're less likely to sit on that as a 2-0. You're more likely to create an extra opportunity.
I'm sure we can talk about it all night. My one point there would be, I think with those, when we play wing backs, the attacking is more important. But when we play the traditional fullbacks, you are looking more defensively and having that solid back line.
Yeah.
However, we haven't spoken about, we scored 2 goals and we haven't done that for quite some time. So I think we should
congratulate Ali as well.
I know, on his first goal, massive.
Well done.
Hopefully, it can be the start of something new and get some more goals.
Absolutely.
And then the second goal, which was just a bit of brilliance, really, from Chislett and DJ, yeah. And then DJ. I think we've struggled having players in that position where the ball is loose in the box and there's never anyone there.
Yeah.
And DJ was there today, popped up and got a goal, and it was a really well taken goal. So
I'm a big fan, and I think once he's at full fitness. We'll see a player, but genuinely, absolutely cracking footballer, Dylan Jayasimi, and again, I think there's a comment there talking about how he should be a permanent deal in the summer. Sign him up.
Him and Armani.
Him and Armani.
Oh, absolutely.
But my problem
Top
with Armani,
players,
if Forest Green get relegated and they've seen how good he is in League Two, probably actually no, thank you, we'll keep him because he will do a job for us and push us back up the right end of the table. But yeah, no, I spoke to one of my mates before DJ started. And he plays for Charlton, and I was like, "What's he like?" And he went, "He's a quality player, just didn't get the chance under the gaffer." And I think he's going to be a good player for us going forward. He likes to drift into the middle, and definitely I'm excited to see him as part of that. It's an exciting time because we're like, "Oh, it's the bench, and you've got." But if he starts or he's on the bench, and you've got those creative options, and it's really good.
Yep.
There you go. A comment there from Robbie Jack. Team's a lot stronger from January. Surely DJ and Luck should be permanent deals come summer.
Yeah, I think they'll be on our shopping list, don't they? You know, the only thing is, my only concern is will other teams be looking at Little as well? Because so far, you know, he's come in and he has been really, really good. And again, will Forest Green Rovers want to let him go? You know, if he keeps putting in this level of performance.
Yeah. But I mean, they need to buy a load of timber for the new stadium, so maybe we could do him a deal somehow. Got a sponsor in there somewhere.
Keep all your comments coming in as well on YouTube and on Facebook. We will respond to them when they come through.
What did you guys make of Ali playing further forward alongside Josh Davison today? It seemed like we switched to a 4-4-2 attacking. Obviously, Ali scored the goal by getting himself into the box, but do you guys think that worked well today?
Yeah, I think Ali was our main threat today going forward. He certainly in the first half he created a load of opportunities. He threatened a bit on the counter early in the second half. He did fade as the game went on a bit, but you can see he's going to be an incredible player, and I'd like to see him being given the chance to go through the middle. And you look, we've got a lot of games coming up over the next month. We've got a really busy fixture list, so give him a start, give Josh a rest, and see how we can do in the middle when he has got, you know, a Jenner on one side and DJ on the other, and he's got pace in and around him, and see how he does. Because he's been great every time he's played, and I think he deserves that opportunity because he's come in and he's really setting League Two on fire.
Alan, you're looking confused.
Yeah, that's just normal though.
Oh.
Can we all go and get a drink?
Yeah, I think that's a good
great
idea.
shout.
We will round off there. Massive thank you to Aaron Paul, George Jones, and Rob Boyce for joining me this evening. And it's an unfortunate circumstance after a 2-2 draw, but I think there's an event on Tuesday the 21st where you can meet Craig Cope, Mike Hamilton, Johnny Jackson and Danny Macklin. They're in the Phoenix, so if you want to come down, Q&A, and ask them some questions and get some answers, come down, have a drink and enjoy that. But for now,
7 p.m.
7 p.m.